Hello, everybody, and welcome to Through the Mist, episode 10. Good to see everybody. How's everybody doing?
Good. Good.
Pretty
Nice.
good.
Excellent. Well, let's do a little recap, especially since Dizzy had to jet partway through last time. Good to see you again. I'm glad everything worked out. So, where did you leave? Do you remember?
We were Twiggy broke through the wall and we
Right.
were about to go through.
Oh, okay. All right. So we started off, and you guys were in that like kind of crumbling apart storage room, but you had realized one of the walls wasn't matching the others, and so you decided to break through it. Breaking through the wall revealed that there was a chamber on the other side. It looked like there were stairs that went up, but then there was a large hole also in the floor, and so Twiggy had flown down into the hole to try and find out what was down in there, because no one could see the bottom. Twiggy had taken a torch, flown down, and found what looked like a larger cavern that opened up. But the torchlight that you had didn't really reveal much, and rather than going in and finding too much on your own, you flew back up. But meanwhile, everyone had been looking down the hole waiting and had realized that the walls were kind of glistening with this movement, some kind of strange something was on the walls. And as you looked closer, you realized it looked like a bunch of maggots.
Ew.
And then the pit had just vomited forth tons and tons of maggots, at which point Twiggy comes shooting back up, and you had all fought off these swarms of maggots, which reminds me, Dizzy, I couldn't make changes. I could roll your sheet, but I couldn't make changes to it. So currently, you were at 8 hit points,
Okay.
and you have a disease. Your disease is marked
Oh
on your
no.
token, and it's not really doing anything right now, but you definitely feel kind of gross. Some of the maggots got under your skin, and you like did your best to get them out and everything, but you just haven't really been feeling great. Shortly thereafter, everyone, kind of while this was all going on, Lyra had heard footsteps on the floorboards in the house above, and there was just this kind of growing ominous presence, kind of like a pressure, not only on your body but like your ears almost kind of have this like they're, you know, you're in like a one of those high pressure situations that make your ears go. I can't think of what that's called. Anyway, your ears feel weird, your stomach feels weird, but also just like kind of you feel a little jittery and a little just worried and stressed and almost hunted is the feeling that you've been getting. And so you all decided to figure out what was going on upstairs, left the few remaining maggots to do their own thing, and went back upstairs. Exiting into the kitchen, you had found nothing had really changed in there except for the fireplace was no longer burning, and it wasn't really feeling quite so welcome. And you could hear that the footsteps were coming from the study that Lyra had investigated, and then they seemed to be moving across the upstairs somewhere. There's the hallway that kind of mirrors the hallway that's downstairs, and you felt like the footsteps were going into there. And so everyone was heading towards the foyer to try and get to those stairs that go up to the second floor, when you realized that there was a kind of a welcoming light pouring out from under the stair or under the doorway that led into this room that most of you hadn't been in. Now, Twiggy, when you appeared here in the house, you appeared in this parlor, but no one else had been in there. And so I believe it was Lilith. No, it was Lyra decided to go in there. And so everyone headed in, and Lyra was just like using that as the shortcut to get to the foyer. But all of these lamps are lit and the fireplace is lit. It's very welcoming in here as opposed to the rest of the house, which is kind of that you've been in, which has kind of gotten very discomforting and cold. And as Lyra went to open the door that is in the southern part of the room there, Lilith had walked into the room, and all of a sudden something in her bag started like vibrating and shaking and moving, and she opened the flap to her bag, and a card had flown out and shot across the room and landed on top of what looks like a deck of cards in the middle of the table there. And as that happened, you heard a voice that said, I've been looking for that. And as you all look in this chair here, there's a woman sitting there. She's wearing kind of a purplish dress. It's like got the big poofy petticoat underneath the dress, and then the top is the kind of corseted, tight-fitting style. But she has like a little hat on that's black, and then a veil that covers her face and obscures it heavily. I was wondering when you would get here.
Well, Lilith raises an eyebrow. And she's like, what?
Lilith, I could just barely hear you. Can you tilt your head in just a little bit more? It's not working! I know Lyra would probably end up going on offensive defensive. So she pulls both of her knives and is like, who are you? What are you doing, Dizzy?
I'm gonna look around and just be like, y'all see this, right? Like, I'm not imagining what's going on. Like, she's actually here.
Twiggy, do you see her?
Yes, and first of all, I have been here for a long time now, and this is my room. This one right here is mine.
Well, you are welcome to enjoy the fire. Have a seat.
Don't mind if I do. I'll go flit over to the table.
And as you flit over, that oppressive feeling that's kind of been pushing on you since you came out of the pit, essentially, has kind of faded away while you're in this room. That fire's very warm, very comforting. And while you can hear the footsteps that are going through the house, and you kind of hear other noises going on, like some wood creaking, maybe some whispering, although it's very hard to tell if that's what it is. That just like when you aren't paying attention to it, you can hear it. But once you like try to focus on the sound, it's gone. Like all of this just kind of has faded to the back of your mind.
Excellent.
Lilith, what were you saying? Is there...
Yeah, I've got some questions.
Okay.
First of all, we were in a circus and then we ended up in this crazy house. How did that even come to be? And then tell me more about the house.
Yes, I do see that you are from far, far away. I don't think you even come from the lands that surround this house. Why don't you sit? See what the cards tell us.
We're gonna play a game.
Of a sort.
Oh my god, deal me in. How much we doing? Like 15 bluebells, or are we doing maybe 12 strawberry?
Oh, I do love strawberries. Do you have
I
any
know!
on you?
No, I mean, like, that's what we're playing for, is strawberries. Lobster rolls we can do here, but we have no strawberries, no fresh greens, no produce. I've gonna have to make a shopping trip at some point.
So as you, as you're sitting there, she begins to lay down 5 cards, Twiggy, and you can see they're all face down, and she's pulled them from this deck that was sitting in the center of this table. Now the deck hasn't shifted since you got here. Like you had seen this deck before
Hmm.
when you arrived. However, I forgot to open something. Hang on. Dizzy, what are you doing?
I'm just gonna stand kind of close to the door, just kind of trying to assess the situation. I'm
Okay.
not gonna sit down.
You see Lyra kind of crack that door open and peeks her head out and looks around and then closes it again. I don't see anything. Lilith, are you going to sit down at the table?
I'm gonna sit down at the table. I'd
Okay.
like to see what these cards have to say.
Okay. And now you remember that, like, after it flew out of your bag and landed on the table, it like crosses your mind that some random woman that was in Ventia had given you a card, and it looks much like what she's laying down as far as the backing goes. You remember that the card face had been called the Mists, and essentially looked like a forest with a bunch of fog in it. She has not shuffled the deck or anything, but this is what I get for forgetting to open something. Okay. So she tells you that this first card represents where you are and the challenge that you face in getting out of the house, essentially. And she reaches for the top of this 5-card cross and flips it over. Oh no. As she does, it reveals a card that has a man that is winching something. Like there's a large like wheel that has a chain or maybe a thick rope attached to a spindle that comes out of it, and he seems to be like winching it tighter. And there's like a certain sense of glee to his face, maybe a little bit of duty, like this is his job, but he seems to be enjoying his job maybe a little too much, as you realize the card is called the Torturer.
And Lilith doesn't like that one bit. Not looking forward to being tortured or meeting the torturer.
Well,
So are we like betting on the next card, or like is it like a play on images?
There's a certain amount of betting, I guess. It's much like betting with your future. What you do with
Yeah,
the
yep.
information that the cards give you is how you bet.
All right, I got 2 on daisies. 2 gold, 2 gold daisies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can keep your gold. I have no use for it.
Free
Yeah.
bet, your loss.
The Torturer has many interpretations, but in this case, it may reveal that there's some kind of pain that you have to go through in order to escape the house. Shall I go on?
Yeah, 2 on daisies. All right, come on, daisies. All right.
Hi, baby.
So
She reaches for the left-hand card and flips it. This will represent the tool that will help you to overcome the obstacle in your path. As she flips it over, it shows a man in full plate with a horned helmet, riding on a horse. He's leaned low over the horse like he's getting ready to swipe at somebody with the very heavy axe that he carries in his hand. This is the warrior card. It could be that you find help here within the house that allows you to overcome your burden much easier if you're able to locate it.
Ooh. Do we have hints on where we could locate it?
What you do with this information is, as your friend Twiggy here has been so astutely commenting, is the bet that you're making.
Hey, you know my name.
I do. I know all of your names.
Well, fancy that. Must have. Was it in that bar that one time that we met? Was it with the axe throwing thing, right?
Oh, no. The house told me. Lyra's kind of like moved over here behind her and is like peeking over her shoulder and like kind of looks like maybe she'll stab her if the veiled woman does anything weird. As the woman reaches for the right hand card. As she flips it over, she says, the reward that you will receive should you overcome this obstacle is reflected by this card. And she gives a little laugh, because it reveals a picture that looks much like her, although the woman's face is revealed and she seems to be wearing like a very like heavy fur stole that has the head of a fox on the end. But before her is laid out a set of cards as well. This card is the Diviner. She says, unfortunately, I don't know how to interpret this card for you as far as it being your reward. Perhaps I will be allowed to help you in some manner after you have overcome your obstacle.
Or that means we already overcame the obstacle, and by Fey law, that means we did.
Well then, by rights, you should be able to leave the house. Would you like to try?
Oh, wait. Was that an option?
I mean, you can always try to leave the house.
Well, look
Yeah,
over
let's
at
try to leave the house. And
Yeah.
I don't like being here.
Okay. Lyra also nods and heads back towards the front door. The woman just leans back in her chair and crosses her hands over one another. I will wait. Who wants to go out the door first?
I'll go out the door.
Okay. So as you creak the door open, are you trying to be stealthy, or are you just heading? Are you making a run for it, or somewhere in between?
In between.
Okay. All right. So you crack the door open, and it reveals the foyer on the other side. You've definitely seen this room before. I have to check something really quick. As you open the door, there is the statue that was in there that looks like some kind of like horned eagle or something. Like it has this strange eagle slash deer head with horns coming out of it, and then it has a body that has heavy wings, much like an eagle, and then clawed feet. Previously, it just looked like a bronze statue, but now it turns and it looks at you as you crack the door open.
I don't like the look of that.
As you're peering at it, you can see saliva just like dripping from its jaws.
I'm just gonna turn back around.
Okay. Lyra's there, and she's like, "Are you gonna go? Come on, let's get out of here."
Do you not see what's going on right now?
She'll peek out. Ugh. What if we just make a break for it?
I mean, we could try. Should we ask Twiggy again? It's a bird, so I don't think I don't think he'll go for it.
Lyra glances over at Twiggy. Maybe we could put him in a sack or something.
Well, if he's hungry, maybe he needs a lobster roll.
Always need a lobster roll.
I mean, we could try feeding it, but yeah, I don't want to mess with this.
What do you say, Twiggy? What are you doing?
I'm checking out these cards. Waiting to see if there's like screams or something, or lightning, thundering.
It looks like
an outburst of seagulls.
It looks like your trio of companions started heading out the door and then stopped. Dizzy closed the door quietly, and then Lyra reopened it slightly to peer out, and then she closed it, and they're all conversing over there quietly. So no screaming yet.
Well, everything's good then. Are there any other unturned cards?
There are not. She appears to be waiting. Because
Can I rearrange the cards? Can I like move one to the other?
Sure.
To the other side, and just kind of watch her to see if this new layout is accepted.
As you move them, you can see that her eyes are on you. Like, it's very hard to kind of make out her face, but you can see like the glittering of her eyes, the reflections of the various sconced lamps that are around the room, as well as the firelight flickering. Seems to be reflected quite well in her eyes, and they definitely are like following your movements, but she doesn't say anything.
Works every time.
Would you like me to
Rearranging
flip your
contracts.
next card?
Okay. 5 silver. It's 2 people on horseback.
So as you like moved everything around, she reaches for the one that would have been in the bottom of the cross, and she flips it over to reveal what looks like a jar on a pedestal. There's like a small table under the very large jar. Within the jar is a humanish skull. You're not really sure. It's a humanoid skull that's kind of enhanced with some red highlights on the edges and within its eye sockets, almost like it's glowing slightly. She says, the artifact. Yes, this represents that which will take you on to the next leg of your journey. This is interesting.
Don't know what you're talking about, but guys, hey, guys.
Dizzy, you glance over as Twiggy says, as Twiggy talks, essentially, and you can see that the woman's reading has continued. Do you want to stay where you are? Do you want to head back over? What's your plan?
I'm gonna, I guess, make a break for it now.
Okay. All right. Lilith, what are you doing?
I want to check out the cards a little bit more. It seems like she's giving us some good information.
Okay. So Lyra's gonna make a break for it with Dizzy. Why doesn't... Let's do this. Everyone click on your tokens and go ahead and roll initiative. And we'll play it out by turn. Oh, that's right. You guys are in D&D Beyond. Lyra. Well, that's weird. I don't know why it double rolls, but it is what it is. All right. So Dizzy, you make a run for it. I'm assuming you started by the door. All right. What do you do?
Oh, whoops, I muted myself. Sorry. Oh yeah, I start by the door, and
Okay.
I'm just gonna make a mad dash.
All right. So as you open the door and you head out, you notice that statue rears back, its mouth opens, and it kind of makes this strange screeching noise at you, somewhere between the call of a deer and like the screech of an eagle. Go ahead and move your token. Are you going to just run past it, or are you like trying to skirt around it?
I am just gonna run past it.
All right. It's going to get an attack of opportunity on you.
Oh no.
However, does a 13 hit you?
It does not, thank goodness.
All right, so it takes a chomp at you as it begins to flap its wings. That was your movement. Anything else?
No.
You can use your action to dash, or...
Oh yeah, I'll do that. I'll use my action to dash.
Okay. So you can get outside the door. And as you burst out of the door, you notice that you can't see the forest any longer, because the fog that had kind of been laying in the forest and in the trees has rolled up and is just like lapping at the edge of the house. It's maybe a couple of feet beyond the house, but for the most part it looks like the entire area you can see is enclosed by this fog.
Okay. And I would imagine that I can't see through the fog.
You cannot. Where do you end up after your dash?
I think about right there.
Okay. All right. And as you ran out, that oppressive feeling also kind of like just hammers down on you again. It doesn't cause any effect, but it definitely has this. Your heart rate picks up even more than like it normally would because you're like making a dash for it. Like it's almost like it's skipping a beat or something. Lyra, who is right behind you, ends up there. Twiggy, what are you doing?
There's a horrible bird sound.
There is.
Oh my god. I'm gonna flit over this way to look out to see what was the source of that.
So it looks like there's a large eagle-like creature with kind of a deer head, although it has some feathers growing off of it, as well as some large antlers. But its mouth is full of spiky teeth, and it seems to kind of like be drooling on the pedestal it's standing on as it begins to flap as though it's taking off.
Okay, well, that's awful. Does it look like it's eaten the other two, or are they visibly out of the building?
You don't see them. You don't see any blood or bits left of it. So,
Oh, that birds don't ever like waste. They're not wasteful creatures. They just eat you one bite at a time. I'm gonna turn and look over at Lilith. And very calmly let her know that bird thing ate them. Sorry, they're dead.
okay. As that is occurring, the bird thing begins to flap its wings and heads towards the door. Bleh. Lilith, what are you doing?
Am I in range to see the bird thing?
You are actually, so if you were looking at the cards, you probably would have been about there. With the door open, you can see where the pedestal was, and it is flown towards the front door. So it is technically still within your line of sight. Yeah.
I'm gonna hopefully not act too rashly and moonbeam the bird.
Okay. Moonbeam is 5 feet, right?
Let's see. 5 feet
Excellent.
within a range of 120.
So we'll put it there.
When a creature enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn, or it starts their turn there, it's engulfed in ghastly flames that cause searing pain, and it must take a Constitution saving throw. It takes 2d10 of radiant damage on a fail save.
Excellent. I'm sorry, did you say Constitution save?
Uh-huh.
Thank you. It is going to fail your save.
Sweet. So 2d10 of radiant?
It rolled it there.
Oh.
Unfortunately, the roller didn't roll very well. It takes 4 radiant damage. Some of its feathers kind of singe, and it releases another one of those horrid noises. And that brings us back up to Dizzy.
All right, I'm gonna actually like just straight up try dashing.
Like down the steps and out into the fog?
Yeah, and see what happens.
Sure. So you're... Oop. That would pretty much put you into the fog. As you run into the fog, it has like a bit of moisture that clings to your skin. You're not too far into it. You can still see the house looming over you from behind. Excuse me. Any bonus actions or anything?
No.
Okay. Lyra is actually just hot on your heels, right behind you. Twiggy, what are you doing?
Man, if Lilith is attacking this bestial creature, then I must also join in the fray to. There's a word. It's not vindicate. It's to. There's a word when you're trying to go after a thing because it did a thing to your friends, and it's called what? It's English. It's an English word, and I should know it.
You're protecting them? You are.
They've been eaten, so I need vengeance.
Oh, vengeance. You're avenging them, right?
I'm avenging. That's the word I'm looking for here. Jesus. Yeah. I'm gonna flit after that thing, yelling back at Lilith. Always aim at the butt unless it's got a mouth at the butt, and then you're screwed.
We should
Get
start.
him in the booty hole.
Right. We should definitely start like a Twitter or something that's like wisdom of Twiggy.
That's right. Always aim at the butt unless it's got teeth. Unless it's got a mouth. All right. Yeah. Go after that thing.
All right.
Zip it in there. Gonna attack it from behind. Yeah, for Lyra. For Dizzy! Oh, man. Let's see here. How do I do this? In action. Rapier.
As you shoot forward and try and stab at it while you're shouting, it glances behind and like just swoops off to the side, and your stab goes wide.
All right, evasive maneuvers. That's my end. That's the end of the turn.
All right. It is going to turn and face you.
Oh, that's where the mouth is.
And I can't turn. Where's the turny McTurnerson button? Oh well, it turns and is going to attempt to slash at you with its antlers. Does a 14 hit you?
It should, but just in case my math in my head is wrong. Yeah, no, it does not.
It does not. It gave you plenty of time as its mouth end begins to turn around and face you in order for you to prepare for its attacks. However, as that happens, one of its talons also rises up and attempts to slash at you.
Those are face grabbers.
That one is a 22.
Probably doesn't hit at all.
You just laugh it off.
I choose to succeed.
Excellent. You succeed in taking 10 slashing damage.
Ow. All right.
Little bits of glitter and like little fine pieces of your wing kind of flit to the floor. Lilith, what do you do?
To continue. I have to think.
It is still in the moonbeam.
The moonbeam.
Okay.
And hit it with a bolt. If I still do that.
It makes the save. Is it save for half?
Saves for half.
Okay, so it'll take 6 on top of the 3 that you did earlier. Sorry, 4. Excellent. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. So Twiggy, as it's facing you, and it doesn't fly out of the moonbeam right away. Maybe it doesn't understand what's going on, but the light that is just cascading around it begins to like burn off some of the fur that's on its face, and its feathers begin to like shrivel up, revealing like gross, moist musculature and stuff beneath it. Dizzy, what do you do?
I'm gonna see how far I can get into the fog.
Okay. Are you dashing?
Yes.
All right. As you dash forward, with about 10 feet of movement left, you arrive here. You run into the fog, and then all of a sudden you're like running up the steps to the house. Lyra,
Okay.
who is following after you, is like right behind you again, as she has followed you through the fog, and you both still have some movement left, but she kind of skids to a halt and looks around. Do you want to keep moving? You have about 10 feet of movement of your dash left.
I'll move. I'll move there.
Okay. She has stopped and skidded to a halt, and she's like, fuck. Twiggy.
All right. I need to not be within range of its face, because that's where things get eaten. So I'm gonna go under it, staying within threat range, and just kind of maybe trying to go for squishy bits underneath.
Okay.
Recklessly.
Rah.
I'm so mad. Erg. Can I make it do it? I'll just roll it twice. All right.
Nice. And we'll take that first damage.
Yeah.
So yeah, you like swoop lower on its body and just jab up into its squishy parts, doing 6 piercing. Anything else?
I'd like to pop out some behind it, but
Sure.
underneath its tail. Maybe keep it, or keep myself like somewhere in a kind of a
Sure.
blind spot underneath it.
Why don't you do an acrobatics check for me?
Right,
You're essentially
acrobatics.
like, you're both flying around each other, and while there's not technically rules for that, I might give you a bonus to your AC. Well, oh, nice, amazing. Because you are so much smaller than it, you're gonna get a bonus to your AC as you're like flitting around each other.
Kill
Which
this bird.
is its turn. So actually, we're gonna have it do disadvantage on its attack.
All right.
It'll just be easier that way.
Be a straight roll
So-
then, because I
Oh,
attack
true.
recklessly.
So with its talons, does a 14 hit you?
Does not.
It manages, like, as it claws with its feet towards you, it comes close, but it just can't seem to get a hold of you. About that time, Twiggy, you do notice motion coming down the stairs. What's your passive perception?
14, I think. 12, excuse me. It's 12.
12. You're really focused on not becoming bird food.
Oh, yeah.
Lilith, what do you do?
I'm going to continue causing pain while I'm stuck in the back, safe, sound, looking suave. We're going to continue Moonbeam.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your damage. It's going to take half. Oh, amazing roll. Huge chunks of it, Dizzy, kind of like have turned to ash and are falling around you. Even its flight is starting to become erratic. Anything else, Lilith?
It's just going to feel a little smug about this and continue.
Okay. All right, Dizzy, the door is open and you can see that bird thing is engaged with a, you're pretty sure it's Twiggy, because there's just this little orange ball of fur with bright wings that they're just swooping and flying around each other. It looks like the larger creature has really been hurt by this glowing massive light that's just burning it away. What do you do?
I'm gonna turn back to Lyra and just say, yeah, we should get back. We're trapped here, so we need to figure out what to do.
And she just looks at you and is like, fuck!
And then I'll move there.
Okay.
I don't know if there's anything. Let's see. I'll use Vicious Mockery on
nice.
the bird.
It does not seem to be affected by your mocking, however.
Okay.
You just double check there's no minuses. Yeah, no minuses to it, so unless what's your DC? I should just double check that.
It's 13.
Okay.
So
Yeah, it got a 19.
yeah.
Okay. Lyra is gonna dash. You can get to here. Here. All right, Twiggy.
I'm gonna stab it. I'm gonna stab it. I'm gonna keep dancing away from its mouth. Let's see here. Robber.
Nice.
All right.
How do you want to do this?
Well, I mean, you know the Ant-Man theory, right?
Right?
How they could have taken out Thanatos. Yeah, we're gonna have a little Ant-Man going on, but not all the way Ant-Man, because I think that'd probably be a little bit difficult to do. You know, not enough really like supreme force like in his head. Totally is how it goes, like straight through its mouth. You know, Michael Bay explosions, but it's probably a little less grandiose than that.
Okay. So as it's like flitting down to try and chomp at you, you reverse course, and just as its mouth opens, you just dive towards it. You raise your rapier towards it and just erupt through the back of its skull. And it makes a couple like twitchy flaps with his wings and then collapses to the floor. As it does so, and you erupt out of the back of its head, as you glance down, or like you're turning to look down at it, you do see there is a person on the steps that is walking down. Anything else?
I'll point at that person going to the stairs and say, "You're welcome."
Excellent.
Ate two of my friends. This thing.
Lilith. Lilith might be on baby duty. Let's say she I'm not gonna have her main or get rid of the moonbeam just in case, but she's gonna move it off to the side so that anyone outside can enter into the building without getting baked. This guy's gonna head down. As he does, Twiggy, it looks like it's essentially a set of armor with a person in it, but the armor's got big holes in it, and it reveals desiccated flesh beneath. Deep in its torso, you see just a faint, glowing, cold, dead light. And his face is very skeletal, and that light is also glowing from its eyes. As he stops, he looks at you and says, "Are you trying to leave the house?"
Well, I mean, eventually, yeah. Got to go to town. We got to get supplies. I mean, do you know anybody who can do renovations in the area?
You won't be able to leave without help.
Okay. Like the artifact or whatever?
Yes.
Oh, wait, no, it's the lady.
Yes.
The lady's the help, right? And the artifact is the... Yeah, there's an artifact, but I can't remember if it was a lady or an artifact that's supposed to be the help, or one's at the end of help.
Yes,
I don't know.
I will be able to help you. All I need you to do is retrieve my sword from under the porch.
Okay.
Without it, I can't leave the house. But with it, I can carve you away through the mists.
Oh, that's easy enough,
Do
sure.
we trust this guy?
Yeah, I mean... Didn't lady say something about is the sword an artifact?
And Dizzy, you can head
Yeah,
inside
it
or do whatever you want.
All right, I'll move there, and I'll just ask Twiggy, what's going on? Do we need to blast this person?
Holy shit, you're alive!
Yeah, we can't leave. It's as I suspected. We tried running through the fog, and it put us back on the front steps.
Well, I don't see how fog could possibly do that, but...
I mean, you can try if you don't. I don't know
Well,
if you want to, but yeah.
This guy here is like, go get a sword, it's under the porch, and like, something, carving. It's... Sounds easy enough.
Don't
Did
you
see
have
a sword out there?
I didn't look, but don't you have fey magic that can dispel this fog or something?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, I only really can tap into it when, like, you know, the third sun rises, after the moon phase happens, when the long shadows are touching the tulips, when I have access to those kind of spells. You know, it takes a lot of energy and, you know, to do those things. Plus, I mean, this is an easier way. There's a sword, there's a porch. We just, you know, go down there and get the thing, and the guy goes, and I don't know, something about the lady, and oh yeah, and an artifact that we're gonna win.
So why do we trust this person
Do you not?
thing? It looks pretty sinister to me, and I don't know, every sinister thing that we've seen in this house has been against us, so...
Well, I just ask him, hey, are you against us?
No, of course not. I'm here to help you.
Ah, see?
Can I make, like, an insight check or something?
Absolutely. He
Wow.
does seem pretty sincere. What you do with that is totally up to you, though.
Well, I suppose we have nothing else to do. I really don't want to go back in the fog, but I guess the porch probably isn't in the fog, so yeah, let's go look for that sword.
Okay.
Do you know where under the porch it is? Did you leave it there, or was it taken there?
It was taken there, and I have been unable to retrieve it as the house won't let me escape without it.
It was the cat things, wasn't it? Yeah, probably the cat things.
And Dizzy just shudders at the thought of the cat things.
Okay. Are you all heading out? Okay. And Lilith,
It's awkward to find.
Lilith, sooner or later, your moonbeam is going to go out, so I'm just going to delete that. I think it lasts for a minute. All right. So as you all head back outside, Lyra's just grumbling to herself and eyeing that guy. I don't care what he says. I don't trust him.
What, we just like punch a hole in this floor? Like probably the fastest way to go down, right?
Totally
I mean, we
option.
could just go to the stairs and see if there's like, if it's like a raised deck sort of thing.
And as you're kind of walking around looking down at it and trying to figure out how to get under it, you realize that the porch, wraps around the front and the east side of the house and disappears around the back. So there's a good amount of the porch to kind of search under.
Should we split up or should we stay together? Actually, I think we should stay together. I'm not feeling too hot.
Totally fair.
Well, I guess go down to the bottom of the stairs and see if there's a crawl place, like a. Sure, you just want to punch a hole and just go straight down. We're gonna get this place renovated eventually. Like,
I mean,
gonna
you
have
are
to
the
tear these
hole
up.
maker, so would you like to have
True.
the honors?
Yeah. I'm gonna punch a hole through this floor. It's gonna be great.
Sure. Make an
Yeah.
attack roll.
Right. We're gonna do this with class. Straight down. All right.
Make a dex save.
Yep. Totally with class. Totally with class.
So you totally take your rapier and you go to like stab it through the wood, and it does work. Like you stab it directly into a hole that's already like in between some of the floorboards. And as you pull your hand back out, you realize something's missing. There was something in your hand, and now it's not in your hand. Crap, your rapier must have dropped it. It's now also under the porch.
This porch eats swords. I empathize with this guy now. We should definitely help him. Don't get your sword too close to the floor.
How does one lose a sword anyway?
Obviously, through evil magic. I mean, he lost his sword through evil magic. I just lost my sword through evil magic. It's bad. We're gonna have to get a priest over here to, do the thing after we, get started with renovations.
And isn't Lilith like the closest thing we have to a priest? Or
Oh yeah, Lilith.
Lilith is like, I got a baby, leave me alone. Lilith is unsure of the ability for her current capabilities to do what they would like to have done.
I have a spiritual weapon here that you use.
Would you like to use that to smash through the floor?
Yeah, let's use the spiritual weapon.
Sure. Nice. So this what does your spiritual weapon look like?
It looks like javelin. It's just like, or no, kind of like one of those blind men's canes, where it's like small, but then you kind of click it open and it sort of like flops out to be this long kind of cane thing.
Gotcha. So this like small baton appears in the air floating, and then you hear a click and it like expands itself and begins to smash at the floor, and it knocks out a decent size hole. Twiggy could fit through it, but it looks like it's going to take another solid blow like that in order to really open up enough to climb into.
Guess I will hold that until next time then.
Okay. Is anyone else going to try, or just allow Lilith to take care of it?
She's going to defeat the floor. Best person to defeat this evil magic would be obviously the priest.
Yeah, and I'm not very strong, so.
So after a few moments, the blind man's cane will smash a hole in the ground or in the floorboards, revealing a crawl space underneath the porch. And as you
How big is this crawl space?
as you're looking at it, it looks like you could walk through it like really hunched over, as could Lyra. Twiggy would have no issue kind of flitting around in there. You just have to watch how much he goes up and down. Lilith is going to have a hard time. It's definitely going to be a crawl space for Lilith.
I'll flit down.
All right. As you flit down, you notice that there a lot of cobwebs are dangling around in here. There's centipedes and millipedes and earwigs and all sorts of insects that are just kind of climbing around through the dirt. But you don't see any signs of a sword beyond your own, which is laying right over there, or any creatures other than the insects.
I will reclaim my sword. And wait for the others.
Okay. Make me a perception check, please.
Perceiving. Super good at this.
Fantastic. All right. So while Twiggy is retrieving his sword, Dizzy, what are you doing?
I'm gonna go into the crawl space and I'm going to cast dancing lights,
Okay.
so that everyone that comes down will be able to see.
Yeah, you notice the same thing. You actually kind of like crunch on something as you drop down in there. Some of it is like the shattered wood from the floorboards above you, but like there's definitely like, it's not quite a carpet of bugs, but there's a lot of bugs just moving around. Go ahead and make me a perception check. Nice. So as you cast dancing lights, it illuminates everything a little bit better, and you can tell now that there is a better light source rather than just the kind of gloomy light from outside coming in through the hole. Over there, off to, it would be closer to the front door, is a decent sized patch of dirt that just looks gray. It has dead insects lying on it. It's obviously different than the rest of the ground around you.
Okay. Then I want to start, I guess, digging there to see if there's anything buried underneath.
Sure. Twiggy, are you doing anything?
I will aid
Okay.
in this endeavor.
And Lilith, what's your plan as far as this goes? Are you going to wait for them?
I think I'm going to wait for them, and I just kind of like to look around.
Going to wait for them, and then I lost the last bit.
I'll look around.
Okay. As you look around, the guy who asked you to look for the sword is just kind of patiently standing there. Lyra is staring down into the hole. She looks like she's ready to jump down, but then she kind of looks over at the guy and just clenches her daggers like she's ready to go either direction, whichever way she's needed. And after a few minutes of digging, Dizzy and Twiggy, you unearth what looks like a sword.
Super easy. Like, once you get a hole punched into a floor, finding swords is like the next thing that happens. Like, bang bang.
As you pull the sword free of the earth, it looks like its handle, the hilt of it, it's all very finely crafted. It looks like it's essentially carvings of these kind of demonic looking salivating toads.
Yeah.
Have any of us seen that before? Has Lilith seen it?
Sorry, I think you said have you seen them before?
Seen
Make a history check. That is a good question. Why could you have failed that so I could have just said no?
Natural 20.
Right?
I know all about it.
I am actually not sure why it's carved with toads, so I'm looking. Sorry, hang on one moment. While I'm doing that, what are the two of you under the stairs doing?
I mean, I'm probably struggling. I mean, it's a big sword, right?
It is, yeah. So it would take Dizzy helping you pick it up, or Dizzy could, like, Dizzy, you're not like a big person either, but you're much bigger than Twiggy.
Right.
But you feel like you couldn't wield this sword because it weighs too much, but carrying it isn't an issue.
Okay, I'll help Twiggy. I won't carry it myself because I think that would probably hurt Twiggy's pride, so I will help him with the sword.
Nice. Inspiration for that. All right,
I could totally wield this. I could totally wield this sword. Totally could do it.
So Lilith, you see as like the hilt of the sword comes out first, and Twiggy's like looks like he's just lifting it all by himself. But then you notice that like Dizzy's hand comes up and is like kind of helping to carry the weight over, and then it drops to the ground, and Twiggy's just kind of dragging it from there as Dizzy climbs out. Are you coming out, Dizzy?
Yeah, I'm coming out.
Okay. And then Dizzy goes over and, helps Twiggy carry it inside. Are you going to take it inside?
Yeah. I mean, go get the sword. Well, bust a hole in the floor, get the sword, defeat the evil that's down there. Totally did those things. Bring the sword back, and then we go to town.
Yeah.
Yeah. A, B, C, D. Bang. Just like the card said, I think, right? Is that? That's what they said. That's what they said.
Yeah, it's totally what they said.
Yeah.
Excellent. Lilith, you can't think of any reason other than decorative why this would be carved this way. Because there's
cool
nothing.
Sword.
Yeah, there's nothing
It's a cool sword, and Lilith feels kind of like a motherly sweetness when she sees Dizzy and Twiggy bringing the sword in, because that's adorable.
All right, so Dizzy and Twiggy, you're gonna give the fellow his his sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you bring it inside, and Twiggy, you offer up the hilt to him. He reaches forward, and there's like kind of a crunching noises as his hand wraps around it. and like a bit of dust falls out of his gauntlet, and he picks it up and raises like the tip towards the ceiling and looks it up and down, and he says, "Thank you." And then he turns and walks through this door.
Which door?
To hear like a follow me.
Nope.
Or
Not like
we
a follow me?
him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lilith is intrigued. She follows.
He ends up heading towards the kitchen.
Oh, we're gonna have a celebratory meal. I love this guy. Totally a straight shooter, knows what's going on, knows the area,
Right?
loves lobster rolls.
All right. Without, breaking stride or anything, he just heads down the hallway, opens the kitchen door, heads for the stairs, and heads down the stairs.
This is like the opposite way to the to the fog. Are we sure this is okay?
Maybe this tunnel. Like, if you go underneath the fog, well, I mean, the fog can't do anything to you down there because there's no fog underground. That's just, what a silly idea that would be.
All right, so you find yourselves in the wine cellar, and he strides across the wine cellar, paying no mind to the remains of Frank. Heads into the storeroom and climbs over, knocking aside the bits of cat creature, and steps through the broken wall.
See everybody?
Continues through this hallway into the circular room that you had found the pit in. Are you all still following him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Celeste. Yeah. He walks to the edge of the pit, doesn't even hesitate, just steps off and drops down.
What'd I say? Tunnel. I said tunnel. Look, I am probably also a diviner. I am a diviner. I know the future.
How would we get back from down there?
Just fly back up.
Lyra glances down the hole and she's just like, I don't know about this.
Well, I mean, that's the way out. I mean, that's what he said. We're get him the sword, vanquish the evil spirit, whatever that took the sword, and then jump in a hole. That's pretty straightforward.
But we can't fly. I mean, you can fly, but we can't.
Yeah. I mean, you can learn how to, right?
Dizzy's just staring at you, blinking.
I mean, magic's easy. You just I'm gonna fly now, and then you just fly.
My magic does not work like that.
I mean, just keep practicing. You keep practicing, you'll learn. You'll figure it out.
All right, as you're all kind of standing around deciding what to do, you hear a roar come from the pit. Not like a creature, but it does have a certain bestial tone to it. You're pretty sure it's a person of some kind.
Not the suit of armor.
Might be.
Like a victorious roar?
More bestial, like angry.
Probably mad because we haven't jumped into the hole.
I don't have any rope or anything, so
I might have some rope.
And I believe
mean-
Lyra has rope.
We could ask the lady. Maybe she got the cards wrong. Because there was nothing in there about a tunnel or a porch.
I mean, I can't believe you even listened to anything she had to say.
Well, she said that we were going to win an artifact or another lady with cards. I think maybe we win another game. I really don't understand how it works, but I think that's what's going on. I think that's how that works.
As you're debating what to do, the ground shakes slightly. Little bits of masonry kind of flit down from the ceiling.
All right, Lyra, can we use your rope to get down there?
She's kind of been like unspooling it from her backpack. She drives a piton into the ground here and ties it off, and then drops the remainder of the rope off the edge.
All right. I suppose I will go down. Yeah, I'll go down.
Okay.
I'll keep pace with Dizzy.
Okay. Lyra will follow, but only if Lilith is going down. Is Lilith going down? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up. Okay. Lilith also heads down. Excellent. Let me snag everyone's tokens here. Oh, your tokens are already there. And I'm assuming you're moving your dancing lights with you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then. So you climb down, and much like Twiggy saw last time, essentially it's just like a hole in the earth that ends up like coming out onto some worked flooring, and the chamber opens up into a larger cavern. With what you can see, looks like there's like a bridge or some kind of structure that heads out over it, but there's a chasm not far from where you're standing when you get to the bottom. You don't see any sign of that fellow that climbed down or that dropped down here, but you do hear the sounds of swords meeting, like the clang of metal on metal from deeper in the chasm.
Tunnel?
I was not expecting this down here.
I mean, usually there's tunnels like underneath houses. Like that's usually what happens with houses. Like right, there's tunnels under most houses.
So should we just proceed forward or explore?
Oh, I mean, maybe the artifact is down here, or maybe that was a metaphor. Oh man, this stuff is so confusing.
As the clang of metal on metal continues, the ground shakes again, and the mists that are at the edge of the chasm kind of roll up over the bridge that heads out from you, and then recede some. What do you do?
Head towards the sound of battle?
Yeah, let's head to the sound of battle.
Okay. As you head out onto the bridge, it doesn't take you very long to realize, like very far, to realize that there is a gap. Like the bridge has been broken and is no longer crossable for those of you who are not flying. You do notice that there is this chain off to the north that streaks off into the darkness. Although I don't know if... I think Dizzy can see it once you get there. Yep. So you notice that it seems like there are these pieces of the bridge or other masonry that are just kind of hovering, floating in the mist, almost like they're islands in the sea of mist. You might be able to cross by climbing the chains, or if you can figure out a way to jump, or otherwise get yourselves over to these other islands.
Well, I don't think I can jump, but I probably could cross the chains.
Okay.
But do you want to fly over, Twiggy, and I don't know, just get a general idea of... Wait, you probably can't see down here, can you? Now.
I mean, I can make out something out there. I mean, it is a bit of a leap. Just trying to follow these chains as far as I can see.
Lilith is going to do Twilight Sanctuary over everybody.
Okay.
Because it's so dark. So we can see.
And that one emanates for how far, do you recall?
Let's see here. 30 feet. A sphere that's 30 feet.
So you are going to emanate... All right, I think you're already emanating light for everyone. Yep. All right, so with the addition of Lilith's light, pretty much what everyone sees is what you can see.
I mean, you could probably maybe loop back around. Like there's an outcropping over there.
Mm-hmm.
Could maybe head back that way. Could get to the chain that way.
So how thick are the chains? Are they like...
They're pretty monstrous chains. Like they're pretty thick. You do notice that they're a little rusted. You're not sure how solid they are, but they're like each link, the metal of each length is about half the size of your wrist, maybe a little bit more.
Okay, I'm gonna go up to this chain over here.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna grab it and shake it and kind of test it.
There's not much give. Almost like it's quite taut between it and the other side.
Alright, I'm gonna try standing on it.
Okay.
And just moving forward a little bit.
It seems...
Do I need to make like acrobatics or...
No, it seems like it's... you're going to go at half movement, essentially, to be able to do it. But it seems pretty steady.
Alright, I'm just gonna keep going until I reach the other side.
Okay. Lyra has...
Lilith is... Oh.
No, go ahead.
Oh, Lilith is going to do the same with the other one. So her light she
Sorry, the other witch?
the other chain.
The one that she's next to?
Yeah.
So I think you can see... Let me just double check. It looks like that one goes just to an island that doesn't connect to anything.
Okay. Then pass on that one. Who needs that chain?
And Lyra is gonna follow Dizzy.
Same.
Okay. Lilith, which direction are you gonna go?
I'll follow everybody else on this
Okay.
one.
So Lilith catches up. As you're moving across, you begin to notice that there is a faint orange light on the. It's deeper in the cavern. It's hard to tell how far away it is, but every so often, forms move in front of it and cast like a shadow towards you. It seems like these forms are two people that are combating one another, and indeed, as the forms kind of meet, you can hear the clanging of metal on metal. Every so often, you can feel a faint vibration in the ground that you're standing on, or the chains if you're touching them. What do you do? Everyone's in such a hurry to get across, I can tell.
Oh, I mean, I'm all about charging forward. It's just that whole. I mean, did you know that there is never any darkness in the Feywild? Never.
I will keep moving on this chain.
Okay.
I'll follow.
And Lyra will follow as well. Lilith? Also following. Excellent. So as you get to the far side, you see what looks like kind of a raised dais area that has some plinths of stone that are above, or that are like kind of circle it. There are five structures that are built around. You can see that the bridge has begun again on this side. It's a little higher though, like you'll have to figure out how to get up that high.
Okay.
What sort of plinth is this? Is this like a ceremonial space? Is it a
It might
monument? Like a monument, or
Why don't you make an investigation check?
right. So good at these.
I'm gonna join you on that investigation check.
Nice. You do find some markings on the insides of the plinths. They look like writing, but you can't read it.
Gonna, I guess, point it out to the rest of the group.
Okay.
I mean, does he read books, right? Like, have you read a lot of books in whatever this chicken scratch is?
Would I have, or
It does not look familiar as far as the writing goes. You do not recognize it.
I do not recognize this.
Lilith?
I've been holding out on you guys, and I don't know anything about the symbols and things here, but I do have Eyes of Night, and as an action, I can share a 300-foot dark vision with up to 3 willing creatures who can see within 10 feet of you, lasting for an hour. So I'm going to share that with everybody.
Excellent. Hold on, and I will throw some 300-foot dark vision on everyone.
Yes! Yes! Huzzah!
Twiggy, all of a sudden it's like being in the Feywild, where you can see almost forever, except for everything's gray. Everything's like shades of gray instead of...
We're going to have to plant so many flowers, and we're going to have to paint this place. Like, it's not acceptable. I mean, obviously awesome I can see, but like, this place just devoid of color.
Lyra's gonna head over here and she looks up at this. Lilith, do you have any rope?
Let's see. I feel like that's something that Lilith would have. Inventory.
Should be in your
Knife.
pack.
Chainmail. Small knife. Shield. Mace. Ink. Nope.
What kind of pack did you take? Like
That's such a good question.
like explorer's pack or
Well, small knife from adventuring gear, so it must have been an explorer's pack.
okay. Then you have 50 feet of rope.
Can I have it? Alright.
She asks you for it.
I will happily hand it over.
She takes a grappling hook out of her bag and ties it off, and then whirls it around and throws it. And successfully latches it on, and she like tugs it and kind of really puts her weight on it for a moment, and then she looks at Lilith and she's like, "Can you test this? I feel pretty comfortable doing it, but I'm worried about you going." Yeah, so you go and you put your weight on it and everything, and like a little bit of stone kind of falls around you, but you feel pretty safe about it. All right, she'll shimmy up. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy.
I'll flit up.
Excellent. Here you are. As you fly up and as Lyra gets to the top, the two of you hear that combat noise get much louder, almost like the fog that was kind of around you. It wasn't very deep fog, but it was definitely dampening the noise. And you look and you can see two figures fighting. One of them is obviously the fellow that you gave the sword to, and another one looks kind of like a ghostly woman who is also done up in armor, but you can see through it. And she has a sword that looks ghostly as well. It's somewhat ethereal. But as her sword meets the other fellow's sword, they have solid contact, and it sounds like metal on metal. Dizzy, what are you doing?
I am going to also climb up the rope.
Okay. Lilith, are you climbing up with them?
Well,
Okay. As you're all kind of grouping up there, you can hear them fighting, and the woman glances over at Lyra and Twiggy, and she says, "Fools! How could you let him go?"
Do you
no
need to
one
be let go?
expressly told us to not let him go. I was not part of the discussion at all.
As he swings his sword and meets the woman's sword, he looks over at you and he's like, "Help me defeat her, and I shall make sure you are free of the mists."
No, you're supposed to let us free of the mist because that was actually the contract that we had agreed to.
That was part A on the contract. You should have read the fine print.
No, you see, it's a verbal contract, and the words that came out of your mouth were, "We get you the sword, and then you get us through the mist," and kind of in breach right now.
They continue battling. He grunts out, he's like, "Without me, you won't get further than the porch."
Hey, lady, do you have a way out of the mists?
As she raises her sword in a defensive manner to block a attack from the guy, she says, "I do not have control over the mists, But should Dranzorg fall, you will no longer be held here.
So who should we trust?
Well, he's in breach of contract, clearly. So, I mean, Fey law dictates that we remove several of his fingers. Oh,
So
and
should we
imprison him.
just wait until after he's done fighting to do this, or?
Oh, I hadn't really thought that far ahead. Yeah, we could just exact vengeance now, I suppose.
But we don't want to kill him.
Isn't he already dead? Well,
I mean,
he looks dead. He looks dead. It's kind of like the guy that we saw earlier who looked dead, but it wasn't.
Let's just fight him, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Doesn't take much convincing there. Let's go.
As you're all discussing, he swings down and cuts through the woman, and like it's hard to tell what really happens as she's kind of ephemeral, but she cries out and stumbles back, and you feel the ground shake again. The chain that's holding this piece on you gives a little, like there's a little like sway to the piece of bridge that you're on as the chain loosens from whatever is holding it on the other side. He laughs, and then he looks at you all, and he's like, fools, you have chosen poorly.
Wait,
But
so
I
does the
shall-
lady... Oh, sorry.
But I shall enjoy adding your souls to my collection. And roll initiative.
Damn. Hot damn.
So does the lady look like the lady from the pictures that was drowning the Fae, or is she just a different lady?
She does not look like the Fey drowning lady.
I'm not sure why that rolled twice.
It keeps doing that when you're coming from.
Weird. Doesn't always do it, but like sometimes it does. It's
Yeah.
very, very weird.
Like today, it keeps doing that. I don't know why. Let's see. Need to get Lyra. And I'll snag Lilith. Nope, this one. Lilith. So many 11s. Alright, that should be everyone. So, Dizzy. The two of them are still locked in combat. He just dealt her a fairly decent wound, and you could feel the ground shake, and then he kind of commented about something about keeping your souls, something. What would you like to do?
Well, for one, I'm gonna get off this piece because I don't want it falling.
Okay.
And I'm gonna stand here because I don't want to get too close, and I am going to use Dissonant Whispers.
Okay. On who?
On the guy, because he's threatening to keep my soul.
Okay. That's a wisdom save, yeah?
Yeah.
He's gonna get a 26, so he won't run away, but he will take half of that damage.
Well, that's pretty pretty awful.
Which is a 2. Yeah, that's. I mean, it could be worse, right?
Yeah, it could have been a 3. Well, I guess that would have just been 1, right?
All right. Anything else?
No, I'm just gonna hang here for a bit.
All right. Let's see. He turns to look at you, Dizzy, and his eyes flare with that cold, dead light. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw. Ew.
Well, that's
Right?
that's not good.
So this just cold, striking fear fills you, and you are paralyzed until the end of its next turn.
All right.
When the paralysis ends, you are still frightened of it for 1 minute. You can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of your turns with disadvantage as long as you can see him and end the effect on a success. So let's put a... Oops, wrong button. Let's put a frightened token on you.
And I think I still have the disease thing too.
Do. Okay. And that will bring us to Lilith's turn.
You know, Lilith is not very happy with how her friend has been treated. She is going to try the true and tried moonbeam again on his bony butt. And
On his bony
we're going to
butt.
see what happens.
Oh, wrong button.
If she could, she would do moonbeam on his butthole.
Right in
This-
there.
Twiggy would approve. Right in
100%.
there.
Right up in there.
All right, so when it goes off, he has to make a con save. Bloop. +7, so that's a 19. So he will take half of your radiant damage.
Little radiant.
Excellent. He does shout, and you notice that bits of bone and desiccated flesh kind of shrivel and blacken. Anything else?
Let's see. That's it.
All right. Lyra, who has stuff that she can do. She also does not feel very great about being on here, so she's going to move across. And as she steps up next to Dizzy, she kind of leans over. She's like, "We're hitting the guy in the armor, right?"
I don't think am I allowed to respond?
Yeah, yeah,
or-
absolutely.
Yes, please.
She's actually sorry she's there. She makes an assumption that this person is currently their ally. Let's find out. And she wings a dagger. $18 will hit that fellow. And she does 9 damage to it. So it does appear that that lady is currently acting as an ally. Twiggy, what do you do?
Wait, you said she is or is not?
Yeah, the phantom woman does appear to be an ally.
Okay.
All right. Can't get there and smack him. this turn, so I'm gonna light him up with fairy fire.
Nice. Are you trying to light just him up, or are you also trying to get her?
Just him. He's in breach of contract, so we're just gonna light him up.
Okay. So I think you need to move so you can see the point at which you center the fairy fire.
Can I not see it from there?
If you cast it anywhere within, because it's like a cube, you'll get her in it.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I will have to move.
Okay.
I'll move my full 5, 10. Go here. I'll hover here.
And it's a dex save, correct?
Correct. Yeah, and it's the DC's very low. It's
It doesn't matter because he failed. I
Hey.
mean, unless it's 8.
Oh, I don't think it's 8. It's charisma plus 8 would be 9 plus your proficiency, which would be 2. So 11 is
Excellent.
my save DC.
What's a good fairy fire? Do.
Also, with my dancing lights, that would have been dispelled, right?
Oh, like it would have gone because of time?
Yeah. Or me getting paralyzed.
Oh, no, because you can maintain concentration while paralyzed. It's if you take damage, you need to make
Okay.
a Constitution save. Yeah, you should be fine. Also, can you see the large stone that's emanating light?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is also there, lighting everything up, so it doesn't. It's not difficult to see him or her.
Okay.
All right. So good job there, Twiggy. Anything else?
Most powerful sorcerer to ever walk the land. That's it.
Exactly. All right. So the woman lunges forward and attempts to hit, and she will hit, and her sword bites into him. You notice bits of his armor kind of crumble and fall away. Excellent. And we're back to Dizzy.
All right, and I'm assuming that the only action I can make now is for
Oh.
the wisdom.
You are correct. So at the end of let me just
His
double
next
check
turn.
this. Yeah, so the end of his next turn, he gets, or you become unparalyzed. Okay, so next time it's your turn, at the end of that turn, you'll make saving throws to try and get rid of the
Okay,
frightened
yeah,
condition.
so I can't do anything right now.
Right. Sorry about that.
Oh no, that's good. That's fine.
He laughs and he says, "Mara, do you think these fools will really be able to help you?" And he turns and makes 2 attacks towards her. This says fist, but it's actually not. It's a sword.
Fist sword.
He's gonna hit her both times and do a bunch of damage. Oh no. Let's see. He is not grappling her because he's just hitting with the sword. She falls to like one knee and like she's holding her sword to keep her up, but she is not looking good. Lilith.
Let's see here. Lilith is going to actually step up next to her
Okay.
and I'm gonna touch her and do a cure wounds.
Okay.
1d8
Nice.
plus your spellcasting ability modifier.
So it looks like you got a 16.
Oh, baby.
Excellent. She glances up to you. Thank you, stranger.
I got you, girl.
Lyra, who chucked the dagger, pulls out her other dagger, her magical one, and she's going to move in to... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She can only get to there. She's going to throw her other dagger for now. Oops, I lost her sheet. Sheet. And she wings that dagger and connects. You were both engaged, so she does 9 piercing. Twiggy.
I'm gonna.
Oh, sorry. I gotta back up for just a sec. He's still in the moonbeam, so he needs to make a wisdom save on your turn. Is that right, Lilith?
Con.
To look it up again. Hold on.
It's con.
Sorry, Con. Gotcha. His con would have been 18. So go ahead and roll your moonbeam damage. He'll take half. Decent roll, though. Bits of him flake away. And then Twiggy, what do you do?
Chuck my boomerang at him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, useful weapon. I think I've got advantage because he's sparkling.
Oh, he is sparkling.
So let's try that again. Yep.
Critical. That's awesome.
Nice. Bonk. 10 points.
Excellent.
You can make up for all of my failings.
Doing what I can. Yeah.
That
Oh.
everything?
I'll flit. Flit here.
Okay. Mara pushes herself up and she says, "Keep on him, heroes!" And takes a couple of swipes, or sorry, a swipe with her sword. And just manages to connect. He begins to lean out of the way, but she leans forward and her sword cleaves into him for 12 damage. Alright, Dizzy at the... Nope, sorry. You are no longer paralyzed. At the end of your turn, you make a save to try and get rid of the frightened condition. So you are still frightened.
Alright.
But what would you like to do?
I will make a wisdom save.
Okay.
I'm gonna
you are
assume that I'm
still
still frightened. So do I need to move away, or am I far enough?
No, you're just at it's not the frighten that makes you flee. It's just the frighten that you're at disadvantage to do attacks.
Okay. Well, I wasn't planning on getting close to him anyway with my 8 HP.
Yeah. All right. That brings us to... did you want to try and attack him at disadvantage before you made your save?
No.
Okay. All right. His turn. Seeing that you are a cleric of some kind, he glares at you, Lilith, and takes a couple of swings with that sword that you so kindly brought back to him.
What a jerk.
Does an 11
Absolute
hit you?
An 11 does not hit me.
How about a 9?
Nope.
Excellent. He is going to step here out of your moonbeam And what do you do in response?
Roll my eyes because it's just ridiculous. And am I able to take a swipe at him?
Oh yeah, he did step out of your...
That-
Yeah.
He stepped out, so yeah, I'd like to take a swipe, an attack of opportunity on him.
Nice. Do you need me to roll that, or are you good?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
We're gonna do the good old-fashioned mace.
I like it.
Yep.
You have advantage.
Do you
Your
have
advantage.
advantage? You didn't roll your attack for some reason. Okay, there's the attack.
That's-
Roll your attack one more time.
Did that come through?
There it is. All right, 24
that?
will hit. And you'll
Alright.
do 7 bludgeoning.
He was not truthful to us. I'm not very happy.
I mean, you don't necessarily know that. And then it's your turn. So he stepped away, you took your attack of opportunity, and now it's your turn.
Ah, fantastic. Then we're just going to moonbeam him again.
Okay. So you could just move the moonbeam rather than recasting it. Is that what you'd like to do?
Yeah, I would like to do that. Let me pull that up again.
So he will make his con save. He's going to make it, so he'll take half of your damage. 6. Excellent. And I think
Excellent,
it's a bonus action for you to move that. Let me just double check.
Yeah, I'm not totally certain about that. Hi.
Oh, no, it is an action to move. Yep, so that is your action. Are you going to stay where you are?
To be next to Twiggy.
Okay. Alrighty. Lyra is going to move in. There's like a jut of that rock sticking out there, but she's able to get to there, and she reaches in. She's going to have to do an acrobatics to see if she can grab her dagger. Acrobatics. She snags her dagger and then tries to stick it back into the fellow. But does at advantage, yes. She's going to do 10 damage to him. Can she do her disengage stuff yet?
Should be able to at second level.
Cunning action. She disengages and moves back to here. She does shout out though, like she looks a little surprised as she moves back, and she's like, "There's something in the rock." Twiggy, what do you do?
Look in the rock.
It looks like a large piece of glowing amber. Make a perception check.
So perceptive.
It doesn't indeed seem like there is some kind of moving shape, like a darkness within, like a shadow.
Hey, there's something in the rock. I'm gonna flit up a little bit so I can get a downward trajectory on the Oathbreaker and chuck a javelin at him.
Okay.
Javelin.
That'll hit.
5 points.
Excellent. Anything else?
And I guess move here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, the woman, seeing the armored fellow beginning to waver, lashes out with her sword and misses. Dizzy, what would you like to do?
Let's see. I will cast Vicious Mockery, but it's at disadvantage, right?
No, so you cast that and he makes a save. There's nothing that you need to do as far as disadvantage or anything goes. So let me find his window. There we go. That is a wisdom save, yeah?
Yeah.
He's gonna fail. So he'll take 4
Oh, nice.
psychic, and his next attack is at disadvantage.
Nice.
Alright, and then I guess I will do my wisdom save.
Yeah. That's what you needed. As you see your vicious mockery take effect, you feel emboldened. This guy can't be that scary, and you are no longer frightened by him.
Nice.
All right. He looks around at the group of you and just kind of leers at everyone. Even though she's doing better, he can tell that the woman has been hurt, so he's going to step out of the moonbeam over here and take a swipe at her, which will miss, I believe. Yeah, just misses her. So he uses his second attack to also swing at her. And that one will hit. As the sword cuts through her body, she turns and faces she turns her face towards you, Lilith, and she says, "You can't let him escape." And she disappears.
Oh no.
Lilith,
Disappears.
what do you do?
She's supposed to be helpful. So does she mean like the skeleton guy shouldn't escape, or the person that's stuck in the rock?
You ask all the good questions.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna yell to the skeleton guy. Why are you guys enemies? And see if he responds. I want to hear his lies or truths.
He scoffs at you and says, "Soon you will be dead, and it won't matter anyway."
I'm gonna moonbeam him just because.
Zoom. Oh, nice. Let's see if he can make that save. Wonk. He does, but he's still going to take half that damage.
He should at least be helpful. He should at least say, like, hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. I mean, he's coming at it all aggressive anyway.
Right?
What does he expect?
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Lyra appears next to you, like she runs up. She's like, "My friend asked you a question." And she takes a swipe. Swipe. The 24 will hit and will deal 11. And she is... yeah, she disengages and moves back. All right. Twiggy.
Rapier out, we're gonna charge in, stab him. Stab him.
Stabby McStabberson.
Stab.
That will hit, but go ahead and roll another one because it might be a crit.
Might be. Another stab.
And it wasn't, but you do hit. Excellent.
Yeah.
Anything else?
We had an agreement. That's it.
Okay. Dizzy.
How bad is he looking? Is he looking pretty worse for wear, or?
Yeah, it's a little difficult to tell because he was already bad looking to begin with, but you can tell that large chunks of armor have been burned away by the moonbeam. There's bits of him that have been cut off by the woman's like spectral sword. He doesn't look great whatsoever.
Okay. All right, I'll move there so that I get the flanking bonus from Twiggy. And I will swing with my rapier.
Gotcha. So he actually has fairy fire on him, so you have advantage.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
How do you use advantage on?
So go ahead and roll it. Let's see if it comes through. And if not, I'll just have you roll it again. It didn't, so roll one more time. That one hit. Excellent. Alright, so you stick your sword into him and kind of move it around, and like you do push, like your rapier actually kind of pushes stuff out the other side of him. And he's still standing though. Anything else?
I will use Bardic Inspiration on Lyra.
Okay. Let me do a little thing here so I remember she has an inspiration. And that brings it to his turn. He is not happy with you, Lilith, whatsoever. He's gonna move here as he takes a swipe. First, does Dizzy take a attack of opportunity?
Yeah, I'll take an attack of opportunity.
Okay. And that is also advantage, so go ahead and roll twice. Nice. So yeah, he steps out of the moonbeam, and Lilith, he raises that sword, and he's just gonna bring it down directly on top of you until you see a shiny little point erupt from his head, and his like glowing eyes kind of look like they turn in and look at it, so he looks slightly cross-eyed for a moment, and then those lights just dim and wink out, and that silver point disappears, and he collapses to the ground, and you can see Dizzy standing on the other side of him, his rapier in his hand.
Oh, good job, Dizzy. Good job. Masterfully done.
So, as you're all standing around, the combat has kind of been keeping your attention on what was going on there, but you realize the floor is kind of shaking, and Lyra is staring at the amber stone, and she's like, "We should get out of here."
Second that. Like the wind.
Like the wind.
Like through the tunnel more, or like further down?
I don't know, but I don't see any way out of here, and it feels like it's gonna start coming apart.
Well, we should totally take that sword, because he said he was going to use it to cut through the mist, so probably it cuts through the mist.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm not carrying
Twiggy
it.
takes the sword.
Is that a wise idea? How are we gonna get it get it out of here.
Or I'll take the sword. I can carry it.
Okay. So you scoop up the sword, and is everybody fleeing?
Yeah.
Fleeing the way we came.
Do we need to rescue the thing that's in there, or like, is that okay?
Lyra shrugs.
I
How the
mean-
fuck am I supposed to know?
I don't know.
Like, does he mean that we're dead anyway if we let that guy out? I
Should
don't
we
know.
try breaking the amber before we go, or?
Oh, why not?
Okay.
Why not?
How would you like to break the amber?
With the sword.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your mace attack.
Let's see.
Nice. So Lilith just takes this sword up and she's like, sure, why not? And you just raise it up and you smash it into the crystal, and a large crack appears, and then like kind of goes across it. Little bit of black haze kind of starts leaking out of it.
Is that normal?
Lyra's like, how the fuck am I supposed to know? Why do you keep
I don't
asking
know.
these questions?
It's leaking.
Maybe it's just really smelly in there because whoever's in there hasn't had a chance to like get a bath or fresh air or something.
Alright, so this is probably bad stuff coming out. Should we keep trying to break it, or should we just leave?
Yeah, I'll take another whack at it.
Okay.
Here.
And the ground is definitely starting to shake more. It's like getting more violent instead of just kind of vibrating. Okay, so yeah, you take a swing at it. The sword bites deeper into the crack, and it just like spider webs out from there. There's a great gust of this black vapor that kind of solidifies as it comes out, or rather, instead of kind of becoming somewhat ethereal, it becomes more of a thicker, viscous, vaporous form, and it shoots out of the amber and upwards out of your vision, and then the amber slowly dims and goes dark.
We did it! I think. I guess we can go now that we rescued whatever was in there. Probably
I
just
hope
bad
that
gas.
was the right choice.
Let's go investigate. I want to go. I'll step inside the amber and investigate and see if there's either a way out or we're gonna help whoever.
So the way that it's cracked,
What a
you kind of
mistake.
like push your way in, and you can see there's like an inner chamber, like a hollowed out area, and it's just covered in symbols that remind you of the ones that were on those plinths just that you passed earlier. Again, you don't really know what they mean, and as you're standing there kind of looking at them, like bits of amber begin to like fall down on you as the ground is just shaking more. Lyra's like, things are coming apart out here, as she's glancing down towards the bridge that spans back across the way you came from. And Jizzy, you can see, actually anyone who's out there can see, because you have the 300-foot dark vision, like this piece of bridge is starting to teeter to one side, like its mooring is coming loose or something.
I guess we go back the way we came? Maybe there's another
I
tunnel
think
over
we
there?
should go, yeah.
Alright.
Baby gone? Baby back? Ah, baby! Hi, baby. Oh, fuzzy baby.
Oh no, life is hard.
Right? Lilith, are you fleeing with everyone? Excellent. Are you all fleeing?
Sure.
Most definitely, yeah.
Okay. So as you flee this area, sprinting back across the bridge and then down the rope that Lyra had, and then she like flicks it, and the rope makes the grappling hook fly off, and she winds it back up. Let's see. I just need Lilith to make a check here, so let's do. Did that come through? No. Excellent. Lilith just, like, as she's stepping out, stops, and then she looks down and picks up a piece of that amber, just puts it in her pocket, and then follows everyone. And as you race across the floating bridge and the chains, there's bits of masonry that are falling, almost like it's coming from, like, you can see chunks of, like, brick wall falling from the roof above you, almost like it's coming from some kind of structure above you. And then you're back into the cave, or the pit, and Lyra had the rope that she tied off, so there's the rope. Everyone except for Twiggy, unless you want to climb the rope, Twiggy climbs up, and there's like kind of this mist and dust and like particles of stone and stuff being pushed up after you as things are collapsing behind you. You come into the tower base that you were in, where the top of the pit is, and you can hear things just kind of falling apart above you, like the house is falling apart. You all rush out and see that indeed, as you like head up the stairs, or even as you get into the wine cellar, like one of the racks has already fallen over and smashed, and there's just like wine everywhere. You climb over that to get out. You run up the stairs. There are bits of cutlery just kind of like spread all over the floor as they're like falling off of this of the shelves as those are collapsing. There are windows in the kitchen. Do you want to try and get out of those, or do you want to try and get out of the door?
Gotta tell the lady that the house is falling apart.
Okay.
She did say she was waiting, so that means that she has to be still waiting, because that's what she said she was going to do. So we obviously have to like break her obligation from waiting on us, so that he can finally know that the house is falling apart. And also to tell her that she was totally wrong, because none of those cards showed a house falling apart.
There were 2 cards you didn't look at, or 1 card you didn't look at.
Probably wasn't a house falling apart. Probably wasn't.
All right, so you're gonna head off to the parlor.
Yeah.
Is everyone following Twiggy?
I'll go with Twiggy to make sure that he stays out of trouble.
Lyra is like heading towards the window, like ready to break it, and she's just like, where the fuck are you going? Oh! And she runs after you.
Gotta get the lady!
Twiggy, you burst into the parlor, and you see the lady standing there, or sitting there. She hasn't really moved. You see her eyes flit up towards you, and the ceiling collapses.
Well, house killed her.
What do you do?
She like completely under rubble.
You don't see her.
Do we like save her, or do we like let the house eat her?
I'm not sure. Does it seem like it's possible to save her?
That is a good question. You don't see any signs of her. Yeah, that's really the information you have. So
Well, I mean, at least like maybe go for the cards. 'Cause, I
I'm
mean,
gonna try moving rubble if I can.
Sure, make an athletics check.
I'll aid.
And really, you are all pretty much here. And Twiggy is aiding, so go ahead and roll one more time, Dizzy, for your advantage.
Oh, did it not roll?
I'm seeing 13. Just one roll. There's the other one. There's 8.
Okay.
So you like managed to move a couple of boards aside, but you realize there's just so much here that it's going to take a good amount of time to kind of dig through. You can't even get to this door. If you want to get out, you'll have to go this way or go out through a window or something.
Okay. Well, we tried. We've got to get out of here ASAP.
Oh, well, all right. I mean, sorry, lady. Zip out towards the front door, I suppose.
Okay. Everyone heading out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you all make a break for it. You push through the front door, or you push through the door in front of you. There are like deer heads laying on the ground from where they had fallen off the wall, the mounted trophy ones. As you flit by, you do notice a shadow in this fireplace. And you hear, "Thanks for stopping by." And then the shadow's gone.
I'm just gonna run past, not even look back.
Okay. Who is the last out? Lilith? Okay. Lilith, as you go to like follow everyone else out after they've burst out the doors, you feel a presence take your shoulder and like gently turn you. And the woman from the parlor is standing there, and she just puts something in your hand, and you get the feeling she smiles at you, but it's hard to tell because you can't really see most of her face. And then she disappears. Like she just fades away.
Cute.
As you look down, there's another card in your hand. That card looks like a broken mirror with a reflection of a man in it who appears to be screaming. It is
Oh
called
my god.
the card is the Broken One. And as you join your compatriots outside, you look behind you as the house is, just crumbling in on itself. It doesn't seem to really fall out at all, but more like something is smooshing it in on itself. And the fog has receded. It's not as you can see some trees through it, but it's not too much further out than the tree line. As the house crumbles in on itself and kind of fills this hole that's underneath it, you realize that there's a good amount of cavern that you were in underneath as the bits of it fall and disappear into the mist below.
Bat cave.
And that is where we'll wrap up for this week. Anyone have any questions?
Oh my god. No questions.
Okay.
No questions.
All right. Well, we will see what happens next, what the Mists have in store for you next Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. I hope if you're watching live, you'll join us next week. If you're watching on YouTube, stop by sometime and say hi. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then. Bye.
Just gotta keep waving. Keep waving.